In the following lessons, you're going to learn about American consonant sounds. You're going to learn how to fix the most common mistakes that non-native speakers make when they're trying to speak English with an American accent. The reason people make mistakes in pronouncing some of these consonants, well, the first reason is some of these sounds may not exist in your native language. Another reason could be that even though the sounds do exist in your native language, they're pronounced slightly differently with an American accent. It could be that the tongue is in a slightly different position, or the lips are moving more firmly or more softly, or the vocal cords are vibrating slightly differently. All of these factors influence the American consonant sounds. Another issue could be that the sound exists in your native language, but maybe it doesn't exist at the end of the word or at the middle of the word. So when you're saying these letters, you don't fully pronounce them the way you should in an American accent. So in these videos, first you will see a demonstration on how to create the sound, and then you will hear individual words, and finally you will hear the words in sentences, and you'll have a chance to listen and to repeat. Okay, let's get started. The first thing that you need to know about consonant sounds is you must fully pronounce each sound. Don't take any shortcuts. Most of us are not really aware of what we're doing with our mouth when we're speaking our native language. We don't have to think about, is my tongue touching the top of my mouth, or is my lower lip touching my teeth? But when you're learning another language, it's really valuable to become aware of what's really happening to produce sounds. One of the biggest mistakes that non-native speakers make when they're speaking English is that they're not fully pronouncing every consonant. Let me give you an example. Instead of saying, I need $5, people might say, I need $5. That V in the word five just kind of disappears. So the first question I want you to ask yourself is, am I pronouncing every consonant? Am I moving my mouth? If you tend to speak quickly in your native language, be especially careful when you're speaking English. If you're used to moving your mouth really quickly, or maybe even mumbling and talking like this can be really dangerous. So let's develop an awareness of what really happens in the mouth when we're speaking. Well, sometimes we use our lips, right? So if I say b, 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 or p, 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 I'm putting my lips together. Both my upper lip and my lower lip are working, b. So when I say probably, we have a p, b, b, probably. My lips have to open and close 3 times. So don't take any shortcuts. Don't say probably, probably. Say probably. Fully move your lips and fully pronounce each sound. And I don't expect you to sound exaggerated and to speak like this. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I mean is just take your time and move your mouth well. And sometimes we move our tongue. L, 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 n, n, n. So when I say the word general, general, my tongue is moving for the N and it's moving for the L. So when I say in general, my tongue moved 3 times. In general, 3 times touching the top of my mouth. And sometimes people get lazy and they say, in general, in general. In general, I go to the library. Pronounce every sound. In general, I go to the library. Okay, let's just practice pronouncing some consonant sounds by saying some numbers. For example, if I say the number 7, look what's happening in my mouth. 7. Let's write it down. We have a V and we have a N. V, M, V, M. So first, my lower lip is touching my upper teeth. V, And then my tongue is touching right behind my upper teeth. 7, 7. So don't get lazy and say 7, 7, but move your lips fully and pronounce every consonant. Let's try one more number. This is a difficult one for people who tend to speak quickly. Watch me. 12, 12. There's a lot of movement that happened here. First, there was a tongue, t, 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 touching behind my upper teeth. And then we round our lips for the W, tw, tw. And then the tongue goes up again for the L, l, l. And then the lower lip touches the upper teeth for the V, 12, 12. So I want you to count from 1 to 20 by yourself and practice moving your lips and ask yourself, what am I doing? What is really happening in my mouth? What's my tongue doing? What are my lips doing? And then make sure you speak clearly and well and fully move your mouth. One important way that we categorize consonants is whether they are voiced or voiceless. It's really important to know the difference between voiced and voiceless consonants for several different reasons. It affects the pronunciation of the ed endings, the past tense endings, and also the vowel length. Let me explain the difference between voiced and voiceless consonants. Let's look at the letter Z, and let's say the sound Z, Z. I want you to put your fingers on your vocal cords right here, and I want you to say Z, Z, Z. Do you feel a vibration on your vocal cords? You do. That's because Z is a voiced sound. We're using our vocal cords. Let's try another one. Let's try S. Let's try S. Put your fingers on your vocal cords again, and let's say S. Do you feel a vibration this time? No. Therefore, S is a voiceless consonant. So Z is voiced, S is voiceless. Here we have a vibration, here we don't have a vibration. Let's try that again. Z, S, Z, S, Z, S. Vibration, no vibration. Let's try another one. Let's compare V and F. Put your fingers on your vocal cords again, and let's say V, 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 V. Now let's try F. Which one of these sounds has the vibration in the vocal cords, V or F? V, of course. Therefore, V is a voiced sound and F is voiceless. Other than that, the V and the F are exactly the same. Look at my lips. V, F, V, F. The position of the lips is the same, except one is voiced and one is voiceless. One uses the vocal cords and one doesn't. So why is it so important to know whether a sound is voiced or voiceless? Well, one reason is because in some languages, the voiced sounds don't exist at the end of the word. They only exist in the beginning of the word or in the middle of the word. Let me show you. For example, look at the word 5. We have F and V. We have voiceless and we have voiced. So you have to change from up here to down here. 5. In some languages, that doesn't happen, and the common mistake would be for people to say fife. Give me $5 instead of give me $5. So if you go through the alphabet and if you go through all of the consonants, you can discover whether the sound is voiced or voiceless by feeling the vibration on your vocal cords. Let's practice a few more sounds and you can tell me whether the sound is voiced or voiceless. Okay, let's try T and D. T and D. T, 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 D, D, D. T, 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 D, D, D. Which one is voiced? D, D. D is voiced. So this one is voiced. and this one is voiceless. Otherwise, they're exactly the same. Watch. T, d, t, d. My tongue is doing exactly the same thing. So if you have a friend named Ed, make sure that you don't call him et. Don't change the voiced sound into a voiceless sound. Be really careful about that. Okay, the other reason that it's important to know whether a sound is voiced or voiceless is because the vowel that comes before the voiced sound is longer. Let me explain what I mean. Okay. Let's look at these two words. Ice, eyes. Listen to the difference. Ice, eyes. This S is actually pronounced as a Z sound. This is actually Z, Z. This is voiced, and S, this is voiceless. Therefore, the vowel sound that comes before is shorter here and longer here. Listen again. Ice, eyes. Ice, eyes. Let's try two more words like that. We have K and we have G. K is voiceless, G is voiced. Which vowel is going to be longer, the first one or the second one? The second one. Listen, back, bag, back, bag. Let's practice some more words now. Safe, save. Notice how A was longer with the V than with the F. Let's repeat again. Safe, save. Pick, pig. Lock, log. Light, lied. Leaf, leave. Cup, cub. So remember, no vibration with voiceless sounds and vibration with voiced. S, z. Feel the vibration. Now we're going to talk about the TH sound, which is one of the most difficult sounds for people to make because it doesn't exist in most other languages. When we produce the TH, the tongue position is the most important thing you need to know. What is the tongue doing exactly? Well, the tip of the tongue is touching your upper teeth. And there's an airflow coming out while the tongue is touching the upper teeth. We have two THs. We have a voiceless TH and a voiced TH. And this is what they look like in the dictionary. These are the phonetic symbols. So the voiceless one is th, the voiced one is the. Let me teach you some really important things about what your tongue should be doing exactly. Be careful that your tongue doesn't touch too hard on your upper teeth, because if it does, then you're not going to have any air coming through. You're going to be blocking the airflow. So don't say the. Don't say bath. Say bath, bath. Make sure that the tongue lightly touch it and make sure that there's a light vibration. Okay, let's try this. Let's try v, or F. You notice how you're not firmly biting down on your lip? You're not saying f, you're saying f. Do the same thing with your tongue touching your upper teeth. Now the position of the tongue is really important as well. If your tongue is too far inside and if it's not touching the teeth, the sound is going to be s instead of th. So the common mistake is when the TH sounds like S or Z. The voiceless TH, if it's not done correctly, might sound like an S. And the voiced TH, if it's not done correctly, might sound like a Z or the letter Z. Let me give you an example. Some people, instead of saying south, they say souse, souse, because they're pulling in their tongue too much. So make sure that your tongue touches the teeth. It doesn't have to be very visible. You don't have to say south. If you speak like that, it could really slow down your speech. If you say, thank you for that birthday present, that's just not realistic. So if you notice, American people don't really stick out their tongue very much when they're producing the TH, but they do touch the teeth with the tongue. Now, another warning, don't touch the teeth too hard. If you do that, it's going to sound like T. So it's not T, it's F. It's not D, it's V. Don't block the airflow with your tongue. Okay, let's practice some words now. Let's pronounce the TH when it's at the end of the word, because that's the easiest location for the TH. Bath. Keep your tongue out. Don't rush. Don't bring it back in. Don't say bath, bath. Keep it out. Bath. Let's try some more. Both. Both. One more. Math. Math. Keep the tongue out. Let it vibrate. Let's try the TH in the beginning of the word. Thank you. Thank you. Thursday. Thursday. Let's try it in the middle of the word. Father. Father. And the is voiced, so there's a vibration on our vocal cords. Father. Mother. Mother. All right, let's try some sentences now. I'm thirsty. Is there anything to drink in this place? I thought it was on Thursday at 3:30. This is my 4th month studying math. Both my mother and my father are healthy. I think Matthew lives in the north. Remember, it's about the position of your tongue. Make sure it touches the teeth lightly. Keep practicing. Let's talk about the American L sound now. First, let's produce the L and say la 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 la. What's your tongue doing? La 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 la. It's going up and down right behind your upper teeth. La la. All right. When the L is at the end of the word, it's a little bit more difficult than that. So the American L isn't released. So we don't say la. We don't say call me, call Bill. We say call Bill. So the tongue is relaxed and it touches right behind the upper teeth and it stays there. So the American L is prolonged. It's softer and longer. Oh. Repeat after me. Oh. So we don't say call, we say call. If you're an Asian speaker, be careful. In a lot of languages like Chinese or Korean or Japanese or Vietnamese, the L doesn't occur at the end of the word. So the common mistake would be to say call instead of call. So the mistake is to just keep the tongue down and not use the tongue at the end of the word. So don't say call me, say call me, call me. We want to hear a good, clear L sound. Let's practice a few words. Feel, school. So don't say school, but don't say school. Say school. Keep your tongue up, directly behind the upper teeth. However, when the tongue is up, don't pull it farther back. It might start sounding like an R. So wall might start sounding like war if you start pulling it back. So keep it in the front, right here, right by your teeth. Call. All right, let's practice a few more words. Feel, ill, feel ill. Awful, film, awful film. So don't say film and don't say film. Say film. Little animal, little animal. Keep the tongue up right behind your teeth. Prolong the sound. Let's practice a few sentences now. I'll call you to tell you about the film. I'll call you to tell you about the film. I feel terrible about the political scandal. I feel terrible about the political scandal. I think I'll be able to handle it by myself. I think I'll be able to handle it by myself. You'll do well at school. You'll do well at school. So remember, you need to prolong the L, keep it right behind the upper teeth. Let's talk about the American R sound. I'm going to say a word two different ways, and I want you to ask yourself which one sounds like an American accent. Each one of these words that I say will have an R. Listen carefully. Full, for. Here, here. Teacher, teacher. Robert, Robert. The second one sounds like an American accent, right? So the most important thing that you need to know is that the American R is never silent. The first one that I did was a British R. In British English, people generally don't pronounce the final R, the R at the end of the word. So they say teacher. Americans say teacher. For more. So let's practice the American R. How do we make the American R? Well, what you have to remember is that the tip of the tongue should never touch the top behind your upper teeth. Don't say r, r, r. That's a foreign accent. So somebody from Russia might say, I'm from Russia, r. That's called a rolling R. That sounds like a foreign accent to American speakers. So the American R, the tip of the tongue curls and we pull it back. So the tip of the tongue is not touching, it's just pulled back, curled up a little bit. Let's practice. For, here. So the American R is never silent. It's not silent at the end of the word and also before another consonant. Let me explain. British people would say learn. Americans would say learn. So we have this RN combination, R plus consonant. Let me show you one more. RM. British would say German. Americans would say German. German. Learn German. Let's practice a few words. British people would say Robert, so don't say Robert. Americans would say Robert. Robert Parker. First person. Don't say first person, say first person. Curl your tongue and pull it back and make a strong R. All right, let's practice some sentences now. Their computer isn't working. Their computer isn't working. I gave her 4 other pictures. Let's say it more quickly now. I gave her 4 other pictures. Her 4th birthday is on Thursday. Her 4th birthday is on Thursday. There are many more over there. There are many more over there. We were the first to arrive at the park. We were the first to arrive at the park. So remember, good, strong sound. Curl your tongue and pull it back. Let's talk about the W sound. The W sound, W, doesn't exist in a lot of other languages. So many people either don't pronounce it or they pronounce it incorrectly. W. Let me show you how to produce it. First of all, you need to round your lips, W, W, and you need to have a lot of air coming through. So make sure that your vocal cords are vibrating and that there is air coming out of your lungs. W, W, W. Kind of like when you're blowing a balloon. Let's practice a few words. W, W, wait. Wait for me. A common mistake is for people to use the lower lips and for the lower lips to touch the upper teeth. That changes it. So don't say wait for me, say wait for me. If you don't round your lips, it's probably going to sound like a V sound. That means the words wine and vine are going to sound the same. So round your lips, blow the balloon, W, W, W. Wait. Let's practice a few more words. Welcome. You're welcome. Always. So don't say always and don't say always. Say always. You're always welcome. Let me show you one more thing about the W. I want you to say kwa, kwa, kwa. When we have words that are spelled with Q-U, they're pronounced as KW. So there's a little W sound in here. So I want you to say quick. Pronounce the KW, quick, quick. Don't say quick or kick. Say quick. Let's practice some more words that have a Q-U spelling that sounds like kwa. Repeat after me. Quiet, quiet. Question, question. Require, require. Quality, quality. One more. Liquid, liquid. All right, let's practice some sentences now. What do you want to do this weekend? What do you want to do this weekend? I'm always required to work on Wednesdays. I'm always required to work on Wednesdays. She will wear a white wedding dress on her wedding day. She will wear a white wedding dress on her wedding day. I have a quick question about the quality of the watch. I have a quick question about the quality of the watch. There are always 12 women with the children. There are always 12 women with the children. We wish we were with our wives. We wish we were with our wives. So remember, round your lips and let the air flow through. Let's talk about the V sound now. V, V. To correctly produce the V sound, your lower lip should touch your upper teeth. V, V. Don't bite your lower lip too hard. Don't say B, but just kind of create the vibration of air and say V, V. Have, have. The common mistake is that some people don't use the lower lip and they round their lips instead and they say how instead of have, have. The other mistake is when people speak really quickly, the letter V tends to disappear. So when people say involved, sometimes it sounds like involved, involved. And when people say 5 months, it sounds like they're saying 5 months, 5 months. So the V is really easy to overlook if you're not careful. So let's practice some sounds with the V. Repeat after me. V, V, very, very well. V, vote, vote. Now when the V is in the middle of the word, it's a little bit harder and people tend to neglect it. So when you say 11, move your lower lip. 11, 11, 7, 7-Eleven. V, v. All right, let's practice some sentences now. He's very involved in their lives. He's very involved in their lives. I've been here from 5 to 7 hours. I've been here from 5 to 7 hours. I will visit the village on my vacation. I will visit the village on my vacation. Have you viewed the 5 videos? Have you viewed the 5 videos? We will review their votes in November. We will review their votes in November. A very common mistake is to confuse the V and the W sounds, the V and the W. So be careful, don't round your lips. So for example, when you say vest, make sure that it doesn't sound like west. So V is just the lower lip touching the upper teeth. Vest. And W, west. We round our lips and the lower lip doesn't touch anywhere. Let's practice a few more words with V and W. Repeat after me. Vow, wow. Vet, wet. Vine, wine. Vest, west. Okay, let's practice a few more expressions now. 12 vowels. 12 vowels. 5 women. 5 women. Very weird. Very weird. West Virginia. West Virginia. However you wish. However you wish. I'll have wine with the veal. I'll have wine with the veal. So remember, lower lip touches the upper teeth and feel the vibration. Let's talk about the S and the Z sounds. This can be confusing and difficult because in English, very often a word is spelled with an S sound, but it's actually pronounced with a Z sound, with a Z. For example, the word has. It's spelled with an S, but the sound is actually Z, has. Here's another one. This S, we don't say backs, we say bags. So the S is pronounced like a Z in some very common words. So let me teach you a rule of how to know if the S should be pronounced as S or as Z. One way to know is whether the consonant before the S is voiced or voiceless. For example, if we say book, this K is voiceless. K, k, k. Therefore, the S that comes after that also remains voiceless, which is a S. Therefore, one voiceless sound next to another voiceless sound. Let me give you another example. The word laugh. This GH is actually an F sound, right? F, f, f. There's no vibration in my vocal cords, so the F is actually a voiceless sound. So that means the S that follows it will also be voiceless, and we will say laughs, laughs. Look at this word, live, live. This is a voiced sound, v, v. Therefore, this S is also going to be a voiced sound, which is a Z, lives, lives. Laughs, lives. Let's try some more. Remember, K is voiceless, so book, books. Let's think of some more words that finish with a K sound. Like, likes, she likes. Cook, she cooks. It's voiceless because the consonant is voiceless. Let's try a few more voiced sounds. Feel, vibration in my vocal cords. That's a voiced sound. Therefore, the S sounds like Z, feels, feels. All right, now I'm going to say some words, and you decide if the word at the end is going to have a S sound or a Z sound. I'm going to say it with no S, and then you try adding an S and try to figure out if it's S or if it's Z. All right, let's try. Care, care. Let's add an S to that word. Cares. If you said Z, you were right, because care, the R is a voiced sound. Let's try another one. Doctor, doctor. Once again, we had the so doctors, we add the Z sound. Mat, mat, mat. Is that voiced or voiceless? It's voiceless. So we put an S on the end, mats. It's with an S, mats. Okay, well, how about if the last letter of the word is not a consonant? What if it's a vowel, as in the word has? We have a vowel here plus S. Usually, when there's a vowel, the sound is Z. There are some exceptions, but usually that's the rule. In fact, there are some very common words that we use every day that finish with the sound Z, and they have a vowel before them. Here are some of those words. Is. We don't say he is my friend. We say he is my friend. Another word is was, because, these, those, please, always. So these are some very common words that we use all the time that are spelled with an S and pronounced with the Z sound. All right, let's practice some sentences now that have words spelled with the letter S and pronounced with the Z sound. He plays the drums on the weekends. He plays the drums on the weekends. She has friends in many countries. She has friends in many countries. Does he always use those things? Does he always use those things? It rains and snows in these areas. It rains and snows in these areas. So remember, when it's a voiced consonant followed by an S, the S sounds like Z. Another way that we categorize consonants, besides whether they're voiced or voiceless, is whether they are stops or continuants. A stop is a consonant that is produced when we stop the airflow. For example, if I say job, job, I cannot continue the sound B. I cannot say job, b, b, b. I can say job. Therefore, the letter B is a stop. A continuant is a sound that we can continue for as long as we have air in our lungs. For example, if I say the word yes, I can say yes. If I want to, I can prolong that S for quite a long time. Therefore, the S sound, the S, is a continuant. Repeat after me. Yes. All right, let me explain to you why it's important to know if it's a stop or a continuant. One reason is because when we have a continuant, a lot of people make the mistake and they treat it like a stop. They cut the consonant in half and they rush through the word. Let me give you an example. Look at this word. Sometimes. We have a S and we have a S. And then the M is also a continuant. So take your time and fully pronounce the continuant. So I want you to say sometimes, sometimes. Don't say sometimes, sometimes. A lot of people rush through the continuants and make them too short. So really feel the sound and extend the letter if you can, if it's a continuant. For example, have. Don't say I have a job. Say I have a job. I have a job. Feel the continuant fully. Also, let me teach you a common mistake that people make with stops. Look at this word, pop, 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 pop. Look at my lips. This is a stop because I'm stopping the airflow. Pop. Pop music. Here is the rule. When we have a stop followed by another consonant, do not release the stop. Look at me. Don't say papa. music. Instead, you need to say pop music, pop music. So I didn't release my lips. I said pop. I didn't say pop. So when we release the stop, it sounds like we're adding an extra syllable. Papa music. It sounds almost like 4 syllables. Papa music. Instead of pop music, 3 syllables. So make sure that you hold the stop. Let me give you another example. You can say job. You can say, I love my new job. Or you can hold the B, you can hold the stop, and you can say, I love my new job. I love my new job. Look at this. Here is a stop followed by another consonant. So don't say job market, say job market, job market. Okay, one more. Imagine we say had this. This is a D, 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 d. This is a stop because we cannot prolong it. We cannot say d, d, d. We can say d. It's a stop. So when we say this, hold your tongue behind your upper teeth for the D and keep it there. Had, had. So don't say had this. Say had this, had this. I had this job. All right? All right. Let's practice a few more words that have a stop followed by another consonant. Remember, hold it, don't release the final stop. Job hunting. Don't say job hunting, say job hunting. Top model. Don't say top model, say top model. Good boy. Don't say good boy, say good boy. That day. Don't say that day, say that day. Not now. Don't say not now, say not now. If you notice, the last 2 examples had a T at the end. It's particularly important not to always release the T at the end of sentences because that will make your accent sound foreign. Listen to this. No, it's not. No, it's not. Which one sounds more American? The second one does. Listen again. No, it's not. No, it's not. Let's try a few more words. We're going to hold that T at the end of the word. Not. Hot. I'm not that hot. Don't say, I'm not that hot. Say, I'm not that hot. Let's try a few more. Quite. Don't say quite. Say quite. Right. You're quite right. If you say you're quite right, it sounds more like a British accent or a foreign accent. So remember, the letter T is particularly important and you need to hold the T at the end to have a more American accent. And this is one reason why people have a hard time understanding if you say can or can't, because very often Americans don't say, I can't go. In fact, they say, I can't go, I can't go. They just hold the T. I can't do it. I can do it, I can't do it. Let's hold that final T. Let's practice some sentences holding that T. I want that blue hat. I want that blue hat. Robert, you might be right. Robert, you might be right. It's not that different. It's not that different. What did you eat last night? What did you eat last night? I can't wait for that flight. I can't wait for that flight. So remember, hold the final stop by either holding your tongue for the T or the D, but, and, or closing your lips and saying up, job. Don't release the puff of air. Okay, keep practicing. Okay, let's practice another T sound that is very American. I'm going to say one word in two different ways, and I want you to ask yourself which one sounds American. Listen carefully. City, city. Ability, ability. Better, better. Water, water. It is, it is. The second one is an American accent. All of those words that I said had a T in it, but the T didn't really sound like t, t. No, it didn't. It sounded more like a d sound, d. Let me explain. When the T is between two vowels, the T sounds more like a D sound, or what we call a very fast D. So, for example, when we say the word better, we have a vowel, T, and another vowel. This T changes and it becomes this fast D sound. So we don't say better, we say better, better. So it's not a really strong D. It's not better. It's a real quick r, r, r. Better, better. Look again. We don't say city, we say city, city. That's a big city. That's a better city. All right, this also happens when the T is between two vowels, even when the words are separate. For example, it is. We link this together, and therefore the T is between two vowels. So we don't say, yes, it is. We say, yes, it is. Let's practice some more words with the T between two vowels. Repeat after me. Water, water. We don't say water, we say water. Auto, auto, automatic. We don't say automatic, we say automatic. Metal. We don't say metal, we say metal. Therefore, this word, metal, sounds exactly like this word. Metal, metal. These two sounds sound exactly the same because the T changes into a D when it's between two vowels. Let's practice some sentences now. I got up at 11 o'clock. Don't say, I got up at 11 o'clock. Say, I got up at 11 o'clock. Do you want to get in or get out? Don't say, get in and get out. Say, do you want to get in or get out? I bought it at a computer store. Don't say, I bought it at a computer store. Say, I bought it at a computer store. What a nice day it is. Don't say, what a nice day it is. Say, what a nice day it is. And by the way, this is not considered lazy or sloppy or casual speech. This is a standard American accent. Let's learn another final rule about the T sound of American English. I'm going to say one word 3 different ways, and I want you to ask yourself which one sounds like an American accent. Listen carefully. Written, written, written. Button, button, button. Forgotten, forgotten, forgotten. The third one is an American accent. Let me explain to you what I just did, and let me show you how to produce it. When we have a T followed by an N, the T is held. So we hold our tongue right here behind our upper teeth and we don't release it. We smoothly just go directly to the N sound without moving our tongue down. So we don't say written, we don't say writ, t, t. We say writ, just move your tongue forward to go directly to the N. This E kind of disappears. It's not pronounced. So it's basically the T and the N that are next to each other. Written. Keep your tongue up. Don't release it. Let the air just come out through your nose for the N sound. Listen. Written. Written. Let's try another word. Same thing. T plus N. This AI, these 2 letters are not pronounced. We don't say mountain. We say mountain, mountain. This syllable is stressed. Therefore, the second syllable is reduced and the vowel disappears. So we say mountain. Don't say mountain. Don't release your tongue. Keep it up and just go directly to the N. Mountain, mountain. Let's try a few more words. Don't say button. Say button, button. Don't say curtain. Say curtain, curtain. One more word. Don't say cotton. Say cotton, cotton. Okay, let's try some sentences now. I am certain that's the tallest mountain. I'm certain that's the tallest mountain. My cotton shirt has buttons. My cotton shirt has buttons. I have forgotten when the book was written. I have forgotten when the book was written. Martin was born in Great Britain. Martin was born in Great Britain. So remember, when a T is followed by an N, keep your tongue up, don't release it. Just go directly to the N. Button. Let's learn how to pronounce a very common sound in English. It's the ing sound, ing. So many verbs in English take the ing form. I am going, I have been working, what will you be doing? Let's learn to correctly pronounce that sound now. I'm going to say an ing word in 3 different ways. Listen carefully. The last way is the correct accent. The first 2 are not correct. Listen. Going, going, going. Doing, doing, doing. Thinking, thinking, thinking. So, when I pronounce the ng sound, the G is in the back. G, 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 g. Repeat after me. G, g, g. What is your tongue doing? Your tongue is touching in the back. G. However, the G is not releasing very much. So when you produce the G, let the G just kind of stay there. Going, going, going. Don't release it. Don't say going. At the same time, some people think they don't have to pronounce the G and then they just produce the N before the G, and they produce it in the front of their mouth, and they say going, doing. Be careful about that. Don't do that. Some Americans do speak this way, but that's considered a very sloppy speech, kind of like street language. Educated people don't say, "What are you doing?" Educated people say, "What are you doing?" Let's practice a few words. Remember, raise your tongue up in the back and try to keep it up there. If you release it, you can just release it a tiny little bit, going, tiny bit, soft release or no release at all. It's kind of a nasal sound. Let's practice. Thinking, working, practicing, interesting, thing. All right, let's practice a few sentences now. I am thinking about buying the ring. I'm thinking about buying the ring. Who are you bringing to the wedding? Who are you bringing to the wedding? I love swimming, running, and playing tennis. I love swimming, running, and playing tennis. Remember, don't release your tongue and don't just produce the N in the front. It's a sound in the back. Okay, keep practicing. Sometimes when we have two consonant sounds and we put them together, they create a brand new sound. So the combination of two individual sounds creates a brand new different sound. This is true with the letters T and D when they are followed by the consonant R. Let me explain. For example, T-R-Y, we don't say try, it becomes like a ch sound. We say try, try. So the TR together make this sound almost like a CHR, almost like ch, but it's a softer one. It's try, try. So let's look at some words that are spelled with TR. Try, travel. We don't say travel or travel. We say travel. Tradition, tradition. Let's try a few more. This also happens, as you can see, when the TR are in the middle of the word. We don't say introduce, we say introduce. We don't say control, we say control, control. The same thing happens when we have a D plus R. DR. We don't say dr, we say dr, dr. So we don't say dry, we say dry. So this DR sort of becomes like the letter J, 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 or the phonetic symbol looks like this. If you look in your dictionary, this is the symbol, it's j, j, except it's a little softer and a little shorter. It's not dry, it's dry. Just use the tip of your tongue a little bit, dry. All right, so this DR becomes kind of like dr. Let's try a few more words. We don't say drama, we say drama, drama. We don't say drop, we say drop. Let's practice a few more words. Drastic. This also happens when the DR are in the middle of the word. Address. We don't say address, we say address. 100. Don't say 100, say 100. Or the woman's name, Sandra. Sandra, D-R, dr. All right, let's practice some sentences now with the TR and the DR. Is it true that you took a trip to Detroit? Is it true that you took a trip to Detroit? That was an interesting trick. That was an interesting trick. Children, don't drop your drinks. Children, don't drop your drinks. I hope my dream comes true. I hope my dream comes true. So remember, TR sounds like tr and DR sounds like dr. Let's talk about what happens when the T and D are followed by a U sound. Once again, they change. So when the T is followed by a U, for example, in the word actually, we don't say actu, we don't say actually. The T becomes kind of a CH sound. So we say actually, actually. So the T and U create a new sound, and it sounds kind of like ch. Let's try a few more words. Let me show you. We don't say statue, we say statue. Statue. So the T, U sound like ch. So it almost sounds like chew. I chew my food. Statue. Let's try a few more words. Nature. Nature. Picture. This also happens when a D is followed by a U. This change also happens. However, it's slightly different. Instead of saying chew, it sounds like we're saying Jew. For example, we don't say graduate. It sounds like we're saying graduate. Repeat after me. Graduate. Graduation. Let's try a few more words. We don't say educate. We say educate. Education. Schedule. We don't say schedule. We say schedule. One more word. Individual. Repeat after me. Individual. Let me show you one more thing about that. When we have the word you followed by the T, for example, can't you? This T also becomes kind of a CH sound, so we don't say can't you, we say can't you? Repeat after me. Why can't you do it? Aren't you? We don't say aren't you, we say aren't you? Aren't you hungry? Won't you? Again, we combine them and we say won't you? Why won't you come? Why won't you help me? And let's look what happens when a D is followed by U. For example, the word did. We don't say did you. Some people might say did you, but a lot of people, in fact, most Americans will say did you? Did you go? Did you call me? Did you do it? Could you becomes could you. Would you becomes would you. Would you like something to eat? All right, let's practice some sentences with all of this stuff that we just learned about the D and the T sounds. Would you like to see the schedule? Would you like to see the schedule? Aren't you graduating in the spring? Aren't you graduating in the spring? Can't you see the statue? Can't you see the statue? Did you get a college education? Did you get a college education? When the T is followed by a U, it becomes chew, and when the D is followed by a U, it becomes Jew. Let's talk about the ED endings that form the past tense of regular verbs. Let's look at these three words: waited, stopped, robbed. Let's learn how to pronounce the ED endings of these three words. We have three different ways to pronounce the ED. Listen to this: waited, waited. So this ED has an extra syllable. So we actually say waited. However, here we don't say stopped and we don't say robbed. So the rule changes. Listen to this one: stopped, stopped. What happened to the ED? It became a T, stopped. Listen to this. Do we say wrapped? No, this one is not a T. This one is robbed, robbed. So this one becomes a D. So we have three possible choices. We have ed, k, or d. This is what makes the past tense in English a little bit problematic. I'm going to teach you the rule now so that you can fix these mistakes. All right, here's the first rule. If the last letter of the verb is either a T or a D, we add the extra syllable. Once again, the last letter of the word is what matters. For example, need. The word need ends with a D. So we say needed. We add an extra syllable. Let's practice another word: paint. Paint ends with a T. Therefore, the past tense is painted. Let's practice a few more words that fall in this category: wait, waited. Need, needed. Complete, completed. Attend, attended. Count, counted. Invite, invited. All right, let's look at the second rule. Look at the word stopped. It's not followed by a T or a D. We have the letter P. P is a voiceless consonant. If the last letter of the verb is a voiceless consonant, the ED becomes a T. So stopped. So this is the rule. Last letter, voiceless, turns into T. Let's practice some more voiceless consonants. Here's another verb: work. K, k, k. That's a voiceless sound. So the past tense of work is not going to be worked. It's going to be T. Worked. Worked. Let's practice a few more words with the voiceless consonant. Park, parked. Cook, cooked. Pass, s, s. Pass is a voiceless consonant. Past tense is passed. Therefore, this word and this word sound exactly the same. Past, past. Let's try a few more words. Laugh, laughed. Push, pushed. Watch, watched. Okay, now let's learn the third rule. Look at the B. The B is B, B. It's a voiced consonant. If the last letter of the verb is a voiced consonant, the ed becomes d. Robbed, robbed. So voiceless is t, voiced is d. Robbed. Let's try a few more verbs that end with the voiced consonant. Love, loved. Realize, realized. Use, z, use, used. Call, called, called. All right, let's try practicing some sentences now using all three of these different verb endings. I painted the walls and fixed the gate. I painted the walls and fixed the gate. I cooked a meal and washed the dishes. I cooked a meal and washed the dishes. I attended a party and danced all night. I attended a party and danced all night. He called his friend and talked for an hour. He called his friend and talked for an hour. Let's summarize the ed rule again. If the last letter is t or d, we add an extra syllable. Wait, waited. Attend, attended. If the last letter is a voiceless sound, we keep the t. Stop, stopped. Work, worked. If the last letter is a voiced consonant, we add the d. Rob, robbed. Use, used. Okay.